set to come out on September 3rd. And this is Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. Kristoff is writing a vampire book, and I can't handle it. I'm so excited. And the last one, number 10, was Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. However, that release date got pushed back to 2021. It's coming out September 15th, I believe. I've already pre-ordered it because if you pre-order in the US, they are all going to be signed editions. So I pre-ordered real quick when I saw him announce that on Instagram. And the next one comes out September 14th, and this is my most anticipated book of the year. I've been waiting 2 years for this book, and that is Empire of the Vampire by Kristoff. A vampire book by Kristoff. Okay. It's here. This book is in my hands. I've been waiting so long. I started talking about this book in the beginning of 2020, and it was one of my most anticipated releases, and then it got pushed back, which initially I was kind of upset about, but at the same time, the reasoning for him pushing it back made a lot of sense to me. So Kristoff writes a lot of books. He has a lot of series. He does a lot of collaborations. He had a lot going on at the same time that this book was being written and edited and all going through all the motions to get it out in 2020. And ultimately he wasn't happy with it when all was said and done. And so, it was his decision to push it back another year and give him some more time to work on it and make it completely what he had envisioned. So that I'm not mad about. I'd rather wait a little bit longer and have something that he was proud of than to get something that was just pushed to meet a date and it probably wouldn't have been as good. So I'm not mad about it, but it is finally here. Okay, my most anticipated book of the year. Been waiting 2 years for this thing, and this came in the mail and my jaw dropped because it is humongous. Whoa. I did not expect it to be this big. I didn't even look at the page count when I pre-ordered this book. I didn't care. I wanted it, whatever. And yeah, I just was shocked that it is so big. Whew. Okay. There are also full page illustrations throughout this book, quite a bit. So there's that too. That helps make it a little bit longer, but this book is 734 pages. Whew. Huge. And it is gorgeous. This cover is gorgeous. I love it. It is a signed edition because I pre-ordered it. So I do have the signature right there. And let me show you a couple things here. So I'm going to show you a couple of the illustrations. So there's one right there of one of the characters. And let me see. I was flipping through some of the illustrations earlier and I can't show you all of them because some of them are inappropriate. It's Kristoff. It's fine. This one's okay. Here's a couple females. And yeah, just this thing is absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Let me find who the illustrator is actually. So the illustrations are by Bon Orthwick. He's the one who illustrated the inside, and maybe the cover. I'm not sure if he did the cover or not, but oh man, so beautiful. This book is so stunning, and I am so excited to dive in. So I'm going to do a reading vlog for you. I'll let you know my thoughts along the way. I will keep it spoiler free. I will try to give you some main plot points without giving too much away. I will not spoil anything, I promise. I'll just let you know kind of how I'm feeling, how I think the action is going. Is there anything that's bothering me about the book? I'll just kind of let you know more of my feelings than anything, but give you a very basic plot line because I don't even know. I have no idea what this book is even really about. I know it's vampires and that's it. And I think vampires are in power in this world. Like they're the ones who are ruling over everybody for some reason. So that's all I really know. And that's all I'm going to take. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hey guys, okay, I'm 30 pages into this book and I'm enjoying it so far. I have a feeling it's going to take me a little bit to get to a point where I'm reading faster and not having to, like, just being used to the world and being used to the language and, you know, what's going on and the magic and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's going to take me a little bit to kind of have that under control to where I'm reading it a little bit faster. It's taking a little, like, I'm reading it a little slower, which is fine, but it's beautifully written. And it's okay. So our main character's name is Gabriel. He is someone who is fighting the vampires, and he's kind of, I don't want to say the chosen one, but he's definitely not what anyone expected, or he's doing things that he's not supposed to be able to do. He's a special one, if you will. And he has been imprisoned, and he is now being not interrogated, but he is being forced to give his story, like his life story, over to the vampires right now because they want to know all about him and how he came to be, and most likely to prevent anything like him being a thing again, so they don't have their power threatened, I'm assuming. That's an assumption. But yeah, he is starting to tell his life story, and someone is taking it down for him, like not a scribe, but like a documenter, if you will. So that's kind of where we are right now in the very beginning. And yeah, so I'm definitely enjoying it, and I'm just going to keep on reading here, and I'll update you again in a little bit. Hey guys, okay, I am almost to the halfway point. I'm a little over 300 pages into this book, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a synopsis as far as what's happening. So this follows our main character, Gabriel. Gabriel is a silver saint. Silver saint is basically somebody who's part of kind of this religious organization almost, and they are fighting on behalf of God to defeat vampires. So vampires are there, vampires are a thing. They are attacking people and killing people, and so the Silver Saints are like the hunters almost of these vampires. Now, you can't just be a Silver Saint. There is a very specific trait about Silver Saints that makes them what they are. And once they are discovered that that's what they are, they go and they train to hunt the vampires. They have to go through all this training and, you know, learn how to defeat them. And so that's a whole thing. I won't give away what makes them special, but there is something that makes them special. It's really cool. And so we're following Gabriel. And in the very beginning, he has been captured and he is being pretty much forced to tell his life story. And there is a vampire historian who is writing down his story. So we're kind of we're going back and forth between, you know, Gabe telling his story, and we're finding out what's happening and what led up to certain things that the vampires are trying to find out about. And then, you know, we'll go into them being in the room together and, you know, they're having conversations about stuff. So it's kind of cool the way it's like kind of in and out of the present and then, you know, jumping back in. It's not confusing at all, which I was afraid it was going to be, but it's not. So that is cool. It is so snarky, which I 100% expected from Kristoff, and he's delivering on that. I have laughed out loud quite a few times. I read lines out loud to my husband and he was laughing. He didn't even know the context of it, but I was just like, this is so funny. So Jay's bringing the snark, which I appreciate. And so we're just following Gabe and, you know, like how he came to realize that he was a Silver Saint and figure out what he was, and just circumstances that kind of led up to him being, you know, sent to this place where he learned how to hunt vampires, and he's currently hunting them and doing all these things. And we are jumping a little bit around in the timeline. So we kind of started at one point and then we jumped ahead to a more future time point, and we're kind of going back and forth a little bit. That's not as confusing as I was afraid it was going to be. So he's not telling it start to finish, basically. He's kind of jumping around a little, but it's okay. And I'm really enjoying it. So I don't want to give anything else away because I'm keeping this spoiler free, but that's the main plot of this book as far as the synopsis goes. And I didn't even really know that. I had no idea what this was going to be going into it. I knew there were vampires and it was Jay Kristoff and I was in. So that's like all I needed to know. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And, you know, I'm 300 pages in and everything has felt very important. So I've never been bored. I've never felt like this is just fluff, filling in stuff. Why are we talking about this? Everything has felt purposeful and relevant to the story, which I really appreciate. So almost halfway through the book and I haven't been bored once. So very happy about that. All right, I'm going to read a little bit more. I'll update you again when I'm a little bit further and kind of let you know how I'm feeling about things. But yeah, it's really good. I'm really, really enjoying it. Okay, guys, I'm reading. I won't say how far I'm in yet, or like right now, because I don't want to like tell you guys where things happen or like a big thing happens on this page. I'm not going to say that. I will say I'm in kind of the middle of a battle scene right now. And I don't know why I'm surprised that Jay Kristoff has just completely broken my heart. He does things to characters. He does things and things just happened. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not very happy with him right now. He is not my favorite. So I'm just going to say that. But guys, I'm really enjoying this, like a lot. It's really smart. It's really smart. Like it's a vampire book, you know, so you don't usually pair smart with vampires, but there's different levels of vampires as well. And the way that they are is really interesting. Just the way that they come about and the way that this affects different people for different reasons. It's really cool. So I really like that about this book for sure. And man, it's brutal though, guys. It is brutal. And I'm like, I actually just said, damn it, Jay. Like, why? Why do you do this to people? Ugh. All right. Because it makes for a good book, right? Okay. Good morning. All right. I'm on a mission today, guys. I'm on a mission. A mission is to read as much of this book today as possible. Here's what. It is October 8th, and I have yet to finish a book in the month of October because I'm in the middle of 3 books that are over 500 pages long, which means I'm reading consistently in all 3 of them, but I'm not finishing anything because it's taking so much time. So while I am making progress, I want to be done. I just want to finish a book already. And today is Friday, like I said, October 8th, and I want to finish Empire of the Vampire before Sunday evening. Like I want to finish it on Sunday, if possible. That's my goal. That way I can start Monday with a fresh book, something shorter that I can get through a little quicker. But I want to go ahead and get this done. I am very close to finishing. As you can see, I'm on page 510 right now. So I have a little over 200 pages left to go. Now, the reason I'm focusing on this so much today is because I want to finish it over the weekend. However, tomorrow on Saturday, we have 2 events happening tomorrow. So we're going to be out of the house for a while, and I don't foresee myself having a lot of time to read. And then Sunday, I'll have some time, but Sunday is also my planning days for like the upcoming week. I plan for my week. I do the laundry, I meal plan, do all that kind of stuff. So that takes some time. So I want to try to get as much read today as I can. So I'm going to have myself a little mini readathon just for me. I have about 6 hours to myself right now. And I am just going to spend as much time as possible reading today and just try to read as much of this book as I possibly can. So a little readathon just for me. We're going to see how it goes, but 6 hours is a decent chunk of time. I don't have any plans. I don't have anywhere I need to be. So I'm just going to take advantage of that and try to read as much of this as possible. Now, 500 pages in, I'm loving this book. It is dark. It is brutal. There have been a few battle scenes in here that are like, whoa. Kristoff does not shy away from hurting his characters. I'll say that. And it's funny at the same time. There is some banter in here that is just fantastic, and I'm enjoying that a lot. Like, I have laughed out loud a couple times, more than a couple times. But yeah, I want to go ahead and get it done. But the world is fantastic. The world building is fantastic. I am completely on board and following everything that's happening and, you know, what's going on. Even though it's jumping around a little bit in the timeline, it's not bothering me. I'm able to still follow it and understand what's happening. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I'm loving the characters too. I really am. So that's good for a 700-page book, right? Okay, I'm reading. So I am going to get started right now. I'm going to read as much as I can today. I'll update you here and there throughout the next 6 hours and see how I go. But yeah, I'm really ready to make a lot of progress today. Hey guys, okay, it's been about 3 hours. I have been reading. I did get up and like kind of walk around a little bit. Just like a package came, so I had to get that. And I started to find myself kind of nodding off a little bit, which has been happening a lot lately. Not because of the book, it's me. But when that happens, I just need to kind of like wake myself up a little bit. It just means I'm dozing off a little, and that's been a point of frustration for me lately, that's been happening like no matter what I'm reading. So I did get up and kind of walk around and do stuff like that. So I haven't been sitting here for the full 3 hours, but most of it I have, honestly. And I have been making some really good progress. And so I mentioned earlier that this book kind of jumps around in the timeline. So the overall story is being told through our main character, Gabriel's, like he's telling somebody his story and that person is writing it down, like a historian type. And so that's the main premise of the book. So you're getting his story as told by him. And it jumps around in basically 2 different timelines. There's one where he is discovering what he is and how that's being handled, and where he goes to learn what he can do with his abilities and all that stuff. And it goes through that whole thing, and him being what's called a silver saint, and kind of how he rose to infamy in that, because he's a very famous silver saint. And then it also goes, we're still in the past, but we're more in the future in the past, if you will, and how things are being handled after he kind of went through some stuff, basically. And so we're going between those 2 timelines, and he's telling his accounts of it. And I started getting to a point where we've been in one timeline for a long time, And I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I want to kind of go back to the other timeline and see what happens after like where we left off, because I was really interested in that. And as soon as I was starting to think that, the next chapter, we got there. It's like, okay, perfect. So awesome. I'm about to start book 6 right now. So I'm going to keep on reading for a little bit. I think I'm going to try to read for another half hour or so, and then I think it's going to be lunchtime. So I'm going to do that, but yeah, and then I'm going to keep going after that. I'm just going to go until my older daughter gets home from school. And but still really enjoying, had some really good scenes here in this past little reading sprint that I did. And we're getting back to the timeline now that I've been curious about. So I'm excited to keep on going. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, guys, so I am done for right now. I've read about 100 pages. I'm a little over 600 pages in now, which is very exciting. And I think I'm going to be done for now. My daughter's gonna be home in about 30 minutes. I need to go eat some lunch. I haven't done that yet. So I'm gonna go do that. But yeah, that was a really, really good sit down reading session for me for this book, because this one is just taking me longer to read. I can't speed read my way through it. Like if I had read this long in another book that maybe is a little bit easier to digest, I would have, read a whole lot more, but I'm not mad about it because this book is amazing and some really good things are happening. So I really like the progression of the story as of right now. So I'm going to go eat some lunch, and that's probably going to be it for me today. I think since I only have a little over 100 pages left now, I have about 125 pages or so. I'm just going to update you when I finish, which is very exciting. So I will definitely finish this weekend. But yeah. So I will let you know my final thoughts on the book and what my star rating is and all that good stuff when I am finished. Guys, I finished Empire of the Vampire last night. I finished this at like 11:30 last night. And so I'm done. I have read this 734 page beast. Oh man, you guys, this was so good. It is vampires, and they are brutal. I mean, these are not sweet vampires that you can empathize with. You are not on their side. They are bad, bad people, bad, bad beings. And it's brutal. It is bloody. It is so incredibly adult, but I had a feeling that's what this was going to be, and he 100% delivered on what I was expecting him to write as far as a vampire book goes. This was worth the 2-year wait for me. I absolutely loved it. It's an easy 5 stars. Will be in my top 10 this year for sure. It's not a favorite of all time, but it is probably the best vampire book I've ever read. I'll say that. It was fantastic. The characters were so great. There's a character in here named Astrid who I absolutely loved. And yeah, so Jay Kristoff does this thing where he is not afraid to hurt his characters. He's not afraid to make them feel pain. He's not afraid to let them suffer. He's not afraid to kill them. And all of that is in here as well. So it's great. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. It was just all the things I talked about, plus there's some funny moments in here that just had me laughing out loud, just some witty banter and some just like one-lines that I was just like almost snorting because they're funny, because I adore Jay Kristoff's humor. It's my type of humor. So loved it. 5 stars. My most anticipated book of the year is read and was everything I wanted it to be. And now I need book 2, which is going to be who knows when. So we'll see, but I absolutely adored it. It's fantastic. If you're interested in this, it's a high recommend for me. If you're not into vampires, skip it. But if you do love vampires and you like them to be terrible, terrible beings, this is where it's at for sure. So, all right. Ooh, that feels good. Okay, let me know down below if you guys have read it, if you picked it up at the same time I did, or if you're planning to read it, if it's on your TBR. And I would love to know your thoughts. Please keep them spoiler free in the comments so that no one gets spoiled for this book, because I feel like giving too much away is just not, I want people to be surprised, because I was surprised by a lot in here and I loved that reading experience. So, all right, that is going to be it for this reading vlog. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you again soon. Bye.